All right, everybody, welcome to welcome to whichever episode it happens to be of the RPCast, otherwise known as the Ranzo and Podcast. I'm your lead host, not co-host, lead host, Ranzo, and this is This is my partner who's been missing for a couple weeks, Pug Monkey. Say hi. Say hi.
I don't have to say anything.
Fucking hate Pug Monkey.
Oh, okay, so we got two guests this week. The first one is Porty Poo. We decided to bring him back after Nike legitimately stole the show from him and he didn't get to speak at all. And the second one is Mia Rosethorn, from the Rosethorn Shipping Company Guild. She leads that. Say hello, both of you at the same time, so it's loud and obnoxious.
Hi.
I didn't do it.
Porty fails us again.
Because I thought you would be like really loud and obnoxious, and you'd be the only one saying it, so it'd be really funny.
You're so mean. I don't even know you. You're mean.
Yeah, he sucks, doesn't he?
Yeah, but I'm great.
All right,
you should hang out with me.
Dick.
Actually, you're all fantabulous. So
I know.
I don't like that word.
Lion, would you like to do something productive and tell everyone what the fucking topic is this week?
We're talking about combat role playing and why it's troublesome at some points, and how sometimes it resolves everything.
And how to do it best, which is probably what you should have led with, you fucking cuck.
There's no best way to do it.
There is no best way to do it. All right. So, Lion, through the first question, now let's jump right in.
All right. What do you think the most efficient way to do combat RP where no one will get upset OOCly or try to power game would be? There isn't.
Yeah, I gotta agree.
Avoid it entirely.
Yeah, it's really there isn't, and it's very hard to get one person who is okay with a certain combat system and another person who says, no, I'm not going to do it. And you try to get them to come to a consensus. It just sometimes never works. And they'll get more pissed about having differing combat systems than actually losing a fight.
I mean, so the best way to really do it is with someone that you actually know. Because if it's you and a friend, especially if you're in the same guild and you do events together and you've done roleplay combat together in the past, it's fine. Doing it with the stranger is absolutely fucking nightmarish sometimes because of that exact reason.
It's Russian roulette with 7 bullets.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. That's why when we started our fight nights in Viathan Shipping Company and carried them over to Rosethorn, we at first only held it within guild, and we allowed people to come watch. But after people started getting really, really interested in it, I made a copy of our rules and roles and put them up onto RP and said, everybody can come, but if you want to fight, you have to do this. And we've had really good results that way.
Yeah, I went to one fight and it was really good. I've never been a fan of rolls though, because I'm unlucky. I'm an unlucky man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough with the dice, but it's also tough because the honor system doesn't always work.
Yeah.
That's probably where most of the butthurt comes from, is, well, my character will do this, no, but my character can do that. Which, I mean, I think there's more honest, like, it's easier that way than it is with rolling, because then you have like a fucking kung fu master who gets beat by some little girl who happened to roll high, and that makes no sense. But the honor system also can lead to trauma because people will disagree on certain things.
Oh yeah, definitely. The role system that we use, we actually have tiers to it, so you're not having like some low tier crappy fighter going up against someone like my character who is in the upper tiers of fighting with different perks and things like that. So we try to balance it out that way.
What do you think, Porter? You've been silent, and I hate it when you're silent. It means you might be dead.
I am dead, but I don't know. I'm waiting for the next question for like my big insight.
Okay, I guess we better end it here then.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
All right, that's it for this week.
All right, well, I guess I'll just jump in and ask the next question because Porty's being goddamn needy. Does utilizing dice for the randomizing effect actually level an RP combat playing field, or simply add unnecessary steps and complications? Go ahead, Porty. This is all
question?
You now.
What is that question?
Well, I don't know. You were fucking waiting for it.
I need to read that.
The question
for the next. He waits for
Porty,
the
the
next
question-
question and he doesn't even fucking know
Okay,
it.
you
I know.
guys, you
The
guys,
question
you guys start
ultimately-
off.
the
You guys start off.
the question
you guys
ultimately-
start off.
Shut up.
Okay.
Shut up. The question ultimately is it easier to use like dice to random it, or does it make it more difficult and complicated?
All right. So my experience with this, because I've been in like loads of different like role events. One of my guilds which do consistently use like the roll system. From my experience, it's been like it's gotten to a point where like we've had like 3 rounds, right? But in like them 3 rounds of rolls, it's been like so complicated number wise on the spreadsheets and stuff that it's taken like about like 40 minutes just to get like 4 rounds done, where it's essentially just been you've failed the roll anyways. So that's probably the biggest problem with rolls I find, because people try and they try like to fix like the problem with rolls being like too unfair and stuff, where they have like character traits and you trait your character to be better at this sort of role than another, that you make the system more complicated, and by doing so each role takes way longer, because like someone behind the scenes has to do all this math and stuff. So like it's kind of so I hope you know what I mean. It's like it's not unnecessary. I don't think. I think it has a place for certain guilds, because like I said, it helps you to really spec your character, but at the same time, it's when an event takes up to like 5 to 6 hours of just rolling, it's not fun for anyone really.
I mean, you've recently come up with the system that we use in the 53rd that I actually pretty much enjoy. It's simple, it's precise, and it's just usually yeah. Go ahead.
The system we're using, it was Cal and Viola, I think, that made it. So credits
I thought
to
you
them.
made it.
No, I
set
the
did
groundwork.
I did a
Why
bit.
the fuck would you think Porty did anything worthwhile?
Okay, so I'm sick of your attitude, first and foremost. But seriously, yeah, credit to them. But so the system we're using, it's very, rule 0. Basically, the DM's word is,
Law.
law. Yeah, basically, the players of this system, and a lot of people probably won't like it because of this, but the players of the system, they have absolutely no knowledge of like what the DM has set their health or their armor or resistance as. And basically, behind the scenes, the only thing you do in between rounds is roll a d20, and the DM basically looks at that, and through like what they've got and what the enemy rolls and what they like judge you as based on your character, they will whisper you, telling you like, oh, if you actually hit or not. And from my experience, it's been a lot quicker, mostly because in more complicated systems, it tends to be that people they get very angry when you when they say like, oh no, I should hit, I got this certain roll, I got this, or people just generally complaining or getting confused in general about the system. It generally avoids all of that because of rule 0, and the DM's word is like law. But yeah, at the same time, there's also sort of that problem of like, well, I want to know like my health, or I want to know this and I want to know that, I want to know the stats, what's actually going on behind the scenes, because it could be that you got a DM that's basically just being a total shitlord and is intentionally telling you that you're like not hitting anyone when you're actually getting pretty good rolls. But I mean, that's just if your DM shitty, I guess.
God, you didn't shut up there for a while.
I had a
Well,
lot
I
to
mean-
talk about.
Those are all some fucking good points.
He had a lot of good points. So.
Yeah, I can't go. I have to go a certain amount of insults per minute with Porty. It's fine. You'll come to understand. But no, those are all some pretty good points. All right, guys, don't all talk at once.
If it wasn't for that moment, I'd just think Porty is just a shitposting meme lord. But He's in a new light now.
Yeah, that's funny joke.
Funny joke.
Funny joke.
You have anything to add on that, Mia?
Well, what I was saying about like shitty DMs and everything. Since we do our fights as events, we always make sure that we have 2 DMs in the roll rooms. That way we can double check health and stats, because we have one of our perks is to have 2 health added to your already standing 5 health. And say if one of the DMs forgets that and posts the wrong health, the other DM can check that and correct it. We try really, really hard to make sure that we pay strict attention to the hit points and the damage that people accrue. And it's sometimes it's hard. Like if it's like a really fast fight and there's a lot of going on, it can, get confusing, but having 2 DMs there really helps.
I just want to say that I did that in my event. One of the packed events we did, where we did this event where basically we were pushing up Morgan territory. There are all these vine balls, and the pact had to stop while like they set the vine balls on fire and like fought enemies. I'm really bad at numbers. I'm terrible at numbers.
Numbers are hard.
Numbers are very difficult to process in my brain. So I got Kel on board and I asked him if he could co-DM. And while I was doing the math, like I had like the Steam overlay, I had like a Google document. So I was like typing and doing stuff on like the spreadsheet at the same time. But it really helped having Kel there at the same time, because he was dealing with some of the things that I missed, because I missed a lot. And he picked up on the things that I missed. And unlike me, Cal isn't as stupid as me. So it was, everything went really smooth because of Cal.
Don't let him hear you say that.
Oh yeah, he might get off on that one. So we don't want him to get.
He'll become self-aware.
Yeah, he'll become self-aware.
You don't want that. All right. Well, let's go to the next question. So we were talking earlier, and this might go into a little bit what we were just saying, but we were talking earlier about the honor system, which is basically just, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm assuming everybody does, but I'm going to say it anyway because I like the sound of my own voice. When you do combat with any kind of roles or stipulations, you just go, okay, well, I think my character would do this, so I'm going to let this attack hit, or I'm going to let this attack miss, because, more or less, you do it based on, honor system. That's why it's called that. Do you guys think that it only works if you know the other person well, or is it, or like anything like that?
As a Seraph role player, yes, you can only use the honor system, I believe personally, with someone you personally know. With the Seraph, we have to generally sort of like, we have to, make sure we have people's IOC consent before doing anything. That's not the problem. The problem is that from my experience, I mean, this is a personal experience, but we've always run into a lot of situations where we're trying to arrest someone, or we're trying to do something. Like they said, yeah, you can attempt to arrest me. And then they basically pull out this giant like bullshit, like I'm the most powerful mage of them all. And then they say, oh, did I say
I'm the pack commander?
Did I say you could arrest me? I said you could attempt to arrest me, not actually arrest me. And it's kind of like, oh,
People
okay.
are crazy. I had shit like that before when I would have Ranzo walk around the city trying to pickpocket people and be like, hey, can my character try and pickpocket yours? He's like, oh, no, it's not, because it's not going to work. He used to be a thief. He can't be pickpocketed. He knows all the tricks. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'll go fuck myself. Your character's the strongest.
To be fair, like I played two of my characters, 2 of my 3 characters. They're really strong characters. And in the end, everyone wants to play a strong character. And I think that's fair. That that's fine, fair and dandy.
I don't.
You don't?
But
Everybody should be weaker than me.
Yeah, don't.
That's the
that's in the login screen. It's please, if you create a character, make them weaker than Lion.
Well, everybody has to take their licks, in my opinion. That everyone needs to get a good beat down every now and then.
That's my favorite part, is when my character gets his teeth knocked out.
Yeah, last time I
totally.
saw, I'm not a lollipop, so I don't take any licks.
Shut the fuck. That's.
Oh no.
This happened to me.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Oh,
Okay,
fuck off.
but I feel one of the problems though is like that people they don't really sort of like know your character personally, or they haven't really experienced role playing with them in a sense. Like my Asura, they're quite a strong character. I have a really strong Asura. I mean, but they're at the same time they have a really awful pain threshold because they're a little midget, and
Boo.
so like I'm fine with them taking a beating. But then my other character, they're sort of treated in the sense that their pain threshold is like insanely like strong. So it doesn't necessarily make them stronger as like physically,
Makes
but
them
if they take it
durable.
like a punch, that they're like ugh,
They're made
you
out
know,
of
they take it.
they're made out of Mick Foley. They're just hard to kill.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
I would say like the honor, and I've dealt with the honor system with people who I didn't know because basically it's like, hey, do we want to do roles? And like this is I think back in the Old Republic and on Guild Wars, and I think back on the Old Republic when it first started. I don't think it had a role system, which is why we did this. And I was like, well, fuck it, I'm lazy. I'm not doing an honor system, or I'm not doing a role system, so we'll do honor. And I find that it works with people as long as they're not a complete fuck. If they're not a complete fuck and you can work with them, then it's fine. Because in the end, unless you're going towards like an end result, usually I just, if you keep in contact with them OOC like and whispers, and I'm like, well, it's not like here's what I'm trying to accomplish, but at the end of the day, I want to make it a good show for everybody watching. So I'm like, okay, well, this is what's happening, and then we can go from here and work towards this. And be honest. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. It all depends on who you're doing it with. Because if you do it with a fucking shitlord, then you're in for a fucking bad time because they're just like, oh, I dropped stuff. That's not good. Amateurish. But if you do it with a fucking shitlord, they're like, oh, my character's a complete badass and he did this and he's the best Sith ever. In fact, my character could crush a sun with the Force, but he doesn't because he's like holding back for a challenge. And I'm like, well, I'm going to put you on my block list and you can be the lord of my block list.
Yeah, and
So
the thing,
basically your point is don't be a cunt.
Don't be a
exactly.
cunt is exactly it.
But you don't know if they're really one or not until you get into the fight. That's the problem.
That is
sometimes.
the
You gotta-
problem. A lot of the time, though, if they are a cunt, and I'm glad that we're going to use this word liberally because it puts a smile on my face. If they are a cunt, a lot of the times you could just go in guild chat, goes, yo, does anybody know this guy? Does anybody know X? And then they'll say like, oh, X is good people, or they go, oh, X is a cunt. So if they're, a lot of the time all you got to do is ask or look it up, and their reputation will, precede them. Sometimes you can't.
It's kind of bad though when you're like halfway through a fight with someone who's being an absolute cock, and you have to do that awkward thing where you just kind of like OOC, sort of like bugger off.
We
like,
did
walk
one
away from the fight.
We did one in the pact, and I'm not going to say the person's name, but this was back when Ranzo was still a fucking like commander or some shit. And it was me and I think it was Twup at the time who was still with us. And some guy rolled up, and he was legitimately role playing that his character was basically Jensen from Deus Ex. And we were fighting him, and then suddenly he took his shirt off, and he had robot arms. And it was halfway through the fight, and at which point we didn't know what to do because he had dwarf technology robot arms, and he had inhuman strength, and he was a human who could stop a Norn in full armor running as fast as he could with just by holding his arm out. And I was like, I don't know what to do, so let's just act like none of this happened, say that they were drunk, and then go about our way. And that's what we did. And I think we did. I think it all turned out pretty all right. But that guy got blacklisted because that's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad people are bad.
I hate bad people.
No, it's just doing. It does always bring out the god modders, but it would be nice if you could know that they sucked before. There should be a database of just like, is he a god modder? You type his name in, just big red letters say no or yes.
Oh, that would be nice.
No, let's make that. Let's make that now. Somebody do that.
Someone get on it.
Yeah, but what else is there?
Um,
Okay, so here's another one because this wasn't written down, but I think this should be asked. Because in Guild Wars 2, you can't do it without going a little bit out of the way. But how do you guys feel about using PvP as a means to base IC conflict?
So I'm a PvP player. I'm good at PvP. People have asked me to PvP RP combat. I think it's stupid, right? But people have like cockily said to me like, "Oh, let's do this in PvP."
Yo, fight me in the
like,
mist.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, okay, and then I take them to the mists, and then I fucking destroy them. And I'm like, okay. But
I find it kind of pointless myself, but
Yeah.
you know, hey, if it works for some people, whatever floats their boat. But I don't find it an enjoyable way to resolve conflict.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few different schools of thought now. Like for me, my character is because I have a lot to fucking say on this subject because I always roleplay assholes, so I always get in fights. And like the way that Thief works doesn't really emulate the way my character fights. And at the same time, I think like it's very unfair because you give someone who does a lot of PvP, which is fine, but like let's say you don't have time to do as much PvP as they do, and you only really log on to roleplay, and then you get your fucking shit kicked in, and it's not, it's not great.
oh yeah, your skill as a role player.
That's why you gotta fight me in the mist.
Your
That
character
is,
skill.
Can we
Your
talk about that? I want to talk about that.
What?
Fight me in the mist. With fucking people go around and like talk shit on your character, but when you do anything, they're like, "Well, come fight me in the mist," and you're like, "No," and then they're like, "Well, fuck off then." And it's like, okay, fuck
It's only
yourself.
specific.
Yeah, no.
I feel like you're trying to pull a name here, and I know what name
Well,
you're
I can't
talking
do
about.
that, so I'm not going to do that.
Can't do
Anyway,
that.
let's move on to the next question. Let me see. Mom, you want to ask the next one?
Sure.
Go for it.
Oh,
That's a long one.
it's a really long one. You go ahead.
Fuck me. Okay. We're going to skip that one so I can get ready for it later. Are there any aspects of the game that, if changed, would benefit roleplay combat? At all? Which I think is a weird question. Oh, we're struggling this time. We're struggling.
Oh,
No.
gee.
I guess
think
it goes
that-
back to don't be a cunt.
Yeah, there should be a rating above your head.
Are you
If you like,
or not? Oh,
yeah, like
yeah.
hit right click them and just go to cunt meter, and then you can vote yes cunt or no cunt. And if all the no's get stacked up, it's basically it's just like a red green line. And like if it's to the left, then yeah, you're a cunt. If it's to the right, then you're the best.
We got a deep red here. Deep red.
Deep red, just fucking abort.
At a fucking RP rep.
I
Like
think
level.
that's something great. I think that would be awesome.
I don't know. I feel like that would be abuse. So I feel like if you got into like a dispute with someone, and then they go over to their guild and they're like, this guy's such a cuck. Can we all downvote them? And then you get all your buddies.
Oh, fucking okay. So I can't believe I didn't think
like
of this.
that I was role playing as the son of Balthazar.
No, I know I would fucking people who dualbox just keep making new accounts so they can keep downvoting you. But here's something I just thought of on my own that nobody reminded me of. Guild Wars 2 or any other game that doesn't have it, roll systems in every game. There should be a roll system.
You just came up with that, did you? No one in
Came
the chat
up with that.
wrote
It
that?
wasn't. I don't know. I'm not in the chat right now. I'm in the moment. So fuck yourself.
Right.
But all games should have roll systems. Not even just for fucking that. Like for anything. Like just for fucking loot systems and shit like that. That should just be a standard /roll. It's like the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, it would be a lot easier in certain aspects to
There's
have the role
there's
system
little to no
in-game.
initiative. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I was just saying it would be a lot easier in some aspects to have a role system in game.
Yeah, I feel little to no initiative to actually go about doing the dungeons. I mean, if there was actual loot that was good from the dungeons, then yeah, I'd probably do them. But if I'm just trying to collect tokens to buy armor, which is essentially just skins,
Yeah. All right, I'm moving on because I'm ready to ask this fucking question.
Okay.
If someone prefers one type of combat to another, or just basically dislikes one type of combat, and they find themselves coming across an event that uses that type of combat that they don't like, should they consider themselves not invited to it? And I think the answer to that is no. Don't be a twat. Don't make everything about you. Just because you
Aw.
don't like that type of combat doesn't mean you should avoid it.
Yeah, like I prefer the honor system, but I still go to the events that involve rolling dice.
Yeah, I encourage all people to come to our fight nights, whether they want to fight or not. Just come and watch and RP in the crowd. It's still a lot of fun, even if you don't want to fight with a roll system.
There have been a few times as a character where like it's like pre-planned ideally saying, all right, we're going to go do this, and my character has said, whoa, I don't do that, and so it makes no sense for my character to go to it, so I don't go to it, admittedly. But I have gone to a lot of events where my character is just like in the moment had like nothing, like they've been absolutely useless. They've been about as useful as like a vegetable.
But the question was, should you consider yourself not invited if it's something that you like, a combat thing that you don't enjoy,
Right.
which I think is silly. If everybody's invited, then everybody's invited. You shouldn't basically hate on something because you disagree with it.
Well, yeah, then I mean I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't feel not invited.
Yeah.
It's just
Cucks. Even
it's
cucks.
it's just you know, it happens to be specifically towards a different group because not everything's about you.
What?
Yeah. What? Yeah.
So
what
what?
is this?
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
I am the Guild Wars.
I'm the pack commander.
Yeah.
So here's because another one that we'll talk about, because this is kind of the second part of that same question, is basically like, what's the talking about more like the appealing parts of making a stat sheet. And I think stat sheets, because I kind of missed my opening to talk about this earlier, and I'm going to talk because I like hearing my own voice and I'm very important. Stat sheets, I think, are a great idea. But I think people are lazy, and that's what slows everything down. People want everything explained to them, because I've seen it in some guilds on like the Old Republic, and I've never really seen it done here in Guild Wars. I'm not saying it hasn't been. I've just never seen it. In Old Republic, there's a guild called the Marin in particular that I did some roleplay with, and they had specific stat sheets for their characters because they all had this kind of ability that was fucking weird, but that doesn't really matter. And they had stat sheets to basically help keep them from being overpowered. And they all knew how to use it. It was basically like D&D. They all knew the bonuses that they got when they rolled, so they didn't spend like 5 minutes going, "Oh, so what do I add to this? What do I add to this?" So when they worked smoothly because everybody did their research before they started the event, which I think is what I think. If people did it that way, stat sheets would be preferable, because that way you got your bonuses for your character being spec'd towards this, but people would need to know that and what they would get added to each roll when they roll, so things go quickly. What do you think?
That is pretty much what we do, but we have a simplified system to where everyone gets 2 perks, either a beneficial perk or a neutral perk, to where the neutral perks have like a good and a neutral benefit to them sometimes. But it's all explained. The role system is all explained. The only stats that we take care of during the event is health, and all the stats that the players or combatants have to take care of is remembering their +2 to their roll, or their +3 or -1. That's all they have to remember. So it's a lot easier with people who aren't used to roll systems. And we like to keep it that way because we don't have to focus on, okay, your armor is -1, your health is -2, stuff like that.
I like that. It's simplified. It's a simplified D&D. It's D&D for
Yeah.
babies.
Basically, yeah. I wouldn't say for babies, but it's for people who aren't used to roll systems, and it actually makes the fights go faster.
Yeah.
Okay. Going on to the next question now.
Don't
Sure.
ask. You're the host. You do it. You just do it.
Oh, okay. I thought you're the lead host. Boo, boo, boo. What has been your favorite? Okay. What has been your favorite type of combat RP, and why? Like example, frontline, militaristic, mercenary / bandit, stuff like that. Also, do you prefer doing combat RP in in a free for all format, turn orders.
You need
Yeah.
to learn how to paraphrase, son.
No, I'll
Okay.
paraphrase you in bed.
This is the most amateuristic thing I've ever seen. Can't work with you.
We need to get him off this podcast.
Yeah, really. Porter, you want to be my new co-host?
I'll be
Finally.
Here I am.
Finally,
It could still be the RPCast. Ranzo,
finally,
the RPP.
Name it to the
finally.
Potty Poo
All right,
cast.
shut up and let Mia answer. I like her voice.
Well, actually, I like free for all. It's very fun, and doing like anarchy or mercenary type things. I had a character years and years ago who,
Yes.
through working with some of the ministry guard and a couple other friends, we blew up the ministry chambers and had a chase going, and it was all free for all, no rolls. And it was a lot of fun. A lot of us got hurt, but it was a lot of fun. But I also like, the sparring where it's turn based. So it's really, it just depends on how it's done, to be honest, and the way people participate. If people are going to be assy and shitty and piss babies, I don't want to be there.
Fucking piss babies.
Yeah, probably my favorite type of, like, the most fun I've had with roleplay combat is probably going to be like sparring. I've always had a lot of fun where, like, you're playing like this powerful character and then you're fighting another powerful character. It's more fun, I found, when you're doing the honor system and you're fighting like a friend, because I feel like with the honor system you can get like really creative with what you're actually doing.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that's the one thing about the honor system I like, if anything, is that you like, I've noticed people get like really detailed with their posts and they do like these really cool stuff and it's like, whoa. But yeah, like my favorite has got to be like sparring in that sense, because you get really like personal and like, like up in their face with this one person, and you get to do cool stuff with your character, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I like the free for all kind of bullshit nonsense, because I think one of the most fun roleplay combat things I ever did wasn't even really combat. It was Ranzo running from two Shining Blade members who were trying to shake him down for questions. And through all this shenanigans, he wound up getting away because he pulled somebody's belt off and their pants fell while they were chasing him. They fell. The guy following him fell. And it was a bunch of shenanigans. It's just like crazy bullshit like that is what I'm like. I like about the combat.
That's
hilarious. I like doing shenanigans. Because fucking combat, I've done it a million times. It's boring. Just like the funny hilarity is what I'm still in it for.
You're looking for a goof and you're looking for a gaff.
Yeah, I'm looking for a goof gaff. Outside of that, I usually just kind of avoid all the nonsense because it's just so time consuming and frustrating most of the time.
Huh. Shit.
Says like line.
Yeah, come on, Lion. You're fucking.
What's your
you're
opinion?
tanking
Words
us.
are
Okay.
hard. Words are hard.
What's your opinion? Are you just gonna
Yeah.
sit there while we all like share
have
our
it.
opinions?
Okay.
Or are you just gonna?
See, the thing about opinions is I don't have one.
We didn't ask for your opinions on opinions. Fucking numpty.
I've already derailed this train. Let's see how fucking far it goes.
Let's see how many times this thing rolls over. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I'm the worst.
Like, anyone who's like listening to like this podcast at this point is just like sort of like close the tab at this rate, because like fucking Punk Monkey can't make his opinion. Well, that concludes this episode of RPCast.
Okay, fuck it. I'm gonna free ball at this point. I want to hear horror stories. I want to hear, like, without dropping names, from, because I'm sure Mia running the fight nights seen some shit, and I know Porty has, because I've probably been there for it. I want to hear some of the worst shit you've seen in fighter combat. Mia, go.
Oh God, there's so much to pick from. Why do you have to pick me first? What did I do?
Well, ladies first, and I don't want to hear Lion talk anymore because every time he talks, I get more and more sad.
Does it have to be from Guild Wars?
No, it can be anything. That's the point of this
Okay.
This isn't
podcast.
so
It
much
can
of
be
a-
anything.
This isn't so much of a horror story, but rather like a thing I keep running into, where like I hit someone with a specific attack and they completely like negate it with something.
Or there's no
then we're-
cell.
And then when like for like ages we're arguing over like if a certain weapon would hurt a certain thing. Like I hit someone with a blunt weapon and they're wearing heavy armor, and I think, oh, so blunt weapon against heavy armor equals like you still get the blunt trauma of the force, right? And then they're like, oh no, my armor blocked the attack. And I'm like, okay, that's fucking bullshit. Okay, you should get that blunt trauma, and that's it. That's my horror story. That's the gist.
Well,
of
no,
it.
because
It's just
that's
hours of-
that's something to be talked about though. Because I've fucking seen it when people have. There's two types of roleplay that I see going on in bars and games. One is ERP, and the other one is people being hard asses and starting fights with each other. I think scattered in there is people talking and maybe some decent shit, but that's majority of what I see nowadays. And
funny.
most
funny
of the
story.
time, most of the time, I remember actually back when I was in the Vale, there was an applicant that we were considering. He was a human, I think, and we were like, oh, well, we might throw him an invite, just give it a minute. And we saw him role playing, like, well, fucking let's eavesdrop on what he's doing and see how it's going. And we were watching him get broken out in a fight with a Char who swung a sword at him as hard as he could, and he caught it. He caught the blade with his bare hands and said, oh no, he's wearing armor. It didn't cut his hands. And we're like, oh, never mind. You're good.
What?
Give that man a pass.
Like,
He's not
if
getting in.
anyone of any race swung a sword at you, you couldn't really catch it. It's a sword.
I catch the sword. Haha, I catch it again.
Hey, I catch it again. That's great.
The one of the big problems we have at Fight Night are people who will argue the rules to me, the person who created them. And there's one guy who.
Well, maybe you should get him right.
Maybe you could kiss my ass.
Oh, honey.
Oh,
Gladly. Go on.
Anyway.
fighting words.
Anyway, there's this one guy who's come many times. Ha ha.
Oh, he's that guy. isn't he?
He anytime someone would get a crit hit on him, he would start arguing about it, and it's just to the point where we banned him from coming because he would literally take up 20 minutes arguing in whispers about how much HP he should have, how the crit hits should affect him. When I'm sorry, if someone critically hits you in the face with a headbutt, your nose is going to either be broken or it's going to be bleeding. It's going to hurt.
I've been
Even
headbutted
still,
before, and I can
Rule
confirm.
one. Rule
And-
one. DM's what is law.
Nobody wins in
And-
a headbutt.
No, you don't win on a headbutt, but you certainly hurt from
No,
it.
nobody wins with a headbutt.
Uh,
There's no winners. Somebody gets a headache and a
No.
broken nose.
Well, then you're doing it wrong.
But there's also the people who refuse to take the knockout when they get hit down to 0 HP. And there was one person who, instead of taking the knockout, like literally ran out of the ring instead, just so they wouldn't have a knockout. Yeah, just
That's
shit like that.
That's amazing.
I kind
Tell
of
me
like
that
that.
person-
I'm not
tell
gonna
me-
lie.
Yeah, no, that's fair. If that's done, I see. Be like, oh, you didn't get me. My character would do that. Be like, oh, I'm still. You didn't get that knockout. Technically, it's defaulted, and the match is forfeit. Inconclusive. Statistics are inconclusive.
Yeah, I kind of like it in the sense that they're like this big fucking coward, but I
False
can understand if they were hit with like, I don't know, they're hit on their head with a hammer. I can see them running off. But
I always feel weird
know.
with like explaining what my character can do in combat because I always feel God moddy. I'm just like,
oh yeah,
well, he can do this, and like my character's he can't fight that well. Like he just shoots
So-
people and he throws sand in their face. Like, but like even then, I'm like, oh, he's got this and this, and I'm just like, oh, I feel like a fucking nerd.
what I'm worried about is sort of the same problem because I play my main is a daredevil, so obviously they're sort of like acrobatic, really fast.
You
sort
roleplay
of,
Daredevil?
character. Yeah, I
Is
roleplay
he
Daredevil.
blind?
No.
I'm trolling
there
you,
you
dog.
Uh,
Get it? Womp
Oh,
womp.
okay.
I
I
will
get
play the
it.
Punisher.
That's funny. I liked that joke.
Hurry up so I
Oh
can
my
ask
God.
the next question. God damn.
Okay, yeah, sorry, but yeah, I feel like the biggest trope is sort of like, oh, I dodged your attack, and I feel kind of bad because, like, obviously, sort of being fast and quick with maneuvers is sort of my trait, and I feel sort of bad when I try and dodge someone's attack because it's kind of like, it's like the kind of cheese card everyone pulls off.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know what I
that's
mean?
that's the thing with whenever I do honor system, I usually try and get like I usually always have my character get hit partially on every attack.
Oh yeah,
Unless
I
it's
make
like
sure
something that would fucking wreck them, and like, okay, he dodges this one. He dodges the bullet. He matrix dodges out of the way, but everything else, like, oh, he get punched in the nuts. Like, oh, that sucks.
I sort of what I tend to do though, if I'm allowed, I kind of like have it so I dodge it for the most part. But the second I get hit, the second like something grazes me, just like someone's pinky finger slaps like my lip,
Mm-hmm.
I just fucking fall over and die.
Well, it's like wrestling almost. It's like you need to make yourself look good while making your opponent look good. That's the
Yeah.
best way to do the honor system. Is you need to you need to sell what they send you so it looks like they're they're a good fighter, and then but they need to do the same for you. Otherwise, if they no sell you, then it's like, well, fuck this guy. I'm gonna no sell him, and it turns into a clusterfuck. A lot of drama comes out of that.
It's not real fighting in the end of the day.
It was me,
Yeah.
Austin.
Fuck, just shut up. Just go sit in the corner. Let me do the
No,
rest of this.
no.
All right, so I'm gonna move on to the next question because we're getting down on the time now. So, have you guys ever been in a situation where going into an event, you felt pressured or like felt like you needed to learn a combat system that you really didn't want to do? And I can say yes on that part, but have you guys ever like felt anything like that, or even adversely, if you were a like a DM going into an event suggesting like a certain combat system, but you had to change because people didn't want to use it?
Me as Fight Night.
Both.
No,
oh,
I'm kidding.
thanks.
Both of them
Yeah,
situations.
that
where I've
fight
been
night
in.
thing, I've been boycotting that forever. Hopefully it's going well.
I'm the
I hate
only
that.
man out there with the sign going, "No more fight nights. No more fight nights."
Thanks a lot. Jesus.
Why can't we have cuddle day? I hate fight night.
Cuddle day happens every day.
Affectionate afternoon.
Just
Fuck
go
off.
Just go to DR. Go to any tavern. There's
Go to the
cuddle night.
coin.
Go to the
Affection
coin.
afternoon.
Everybody answer the question now.
Yeah, I was answering the question. I said I've experienced both where I've DM'd and people have said I don't want to use this roll system, even though it was only roll a d20, which was a bit annoying. But I've also been in the same situation where I've gone to an event and they expect me to use this new roll system all of a sudden, and it's kind of like I don't really want to. I don't want to learn all your rubbish for this one event.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
rubbish. It's not my system, so obviously it's a bad system because it's not my system and
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't know what it is.
That's
So,
what it is.
because it's not my system and it's bad because of it. I don't want to use it. It's
I mean,
So-
I've had it where I had officers in my guilds I was helping to run where they were like, "Well, I'm going to do this event, and I really want to do this roll system." And I'm looking at it, I'm like, "This is a clusterfuck. This is stupid." I'm like, "Hey, let's try to cut this down," and then we cut it down a little bit, and it was still fucking complicated. And it was still a clusterfuck. But I'm like, "Well, I want to help my buddy out to do this," so I'm like, "Hey, yeah, everyone, let's do this. Let's do this roll system." And I really didn't want to do it, but I didn't want to tell him that, and I wanted to help out like my other officers. So I've done it in like instances like that. But usually, if there's a combat system that, as just a normal person joining, that I don't want to do, I'm just like, "Oh, I can't make it tonight. My power's out. Oh, I'm just sitting in the dark doing nothing. I wish I could be there." Usually, I'm just watching porn and masturbating furiously. Which I think is a better alternative.
You too.
Well, yeah,
people look at porn.
you guys are the fucking
Fuck yeah,
worst.
porn's free.
Why can't you guys
Gross.
just have discussions? Why do I have to carry this podcast every fucking week?
Hey, I've been very vocal.
We don't
Today.
discuss. We just yell at each other.
Yeah, it's
There's no
more or less
yelling
it.
today. I'm not yelling.
Going back to the question,
Thank God.
I have, yes, experienced both. Obviously, since everybody fucking hates fight night, apparently. So,
That's where I go to pick up chicks.
both.
I didn't say I hate Fight Night, in fairness. But I do hate Fight Night.
Go on, Mia, please. Disregard these cucklords. Please continue your sentence.
Well, I have a new sentence now.
Oh,
You can go fuck yourself.
yay!
That's a good one. No, but seriously,
Just
though,
like every night.
Shut up. Okay, so seriously though, what were you saying?
No, I was just saying that, there have been some really strange and awkward combat systems that people have required participants to learn for just one event. And I've even gone to one where they didn't even give the stats out till after the beginning of the event. So it took like an additional 30 or 40 minutes for everyone to figure out their stats because the DM did not post anything to let us know what we had to choose from or what we had to do. It was really confusing and very annoying.
If you're going to do a public roleplay event that includes roles, it needs to be a really simple system, I think.
Yeah.
And it needs to
Absolutely.
be posted before the event.
Yeah. People need to, like, in like guild ones, like I was saying earlier, people need to understand it, but like I feel like doing that with the community as a whole is like fucking, it's like hurting rocks. It's like you would have to make sure everybody understands it beforehand, just and do the simplest fucking thing possible. As I repeat what Porty says, but better. Okay, I guess I'll keep carrying the podcast. Next question. So, in terms of story-based combat, like in a particularly story-heavy arc you're doing with your guild, or whatever, just story-based. How do you what do you look for in that when it comes to combat in a story-based kind of scenario? Because
Like sadness.
well, for me, because to make an example, I always go back to when I did a role play event with Kale, where he was this big bad villain, and my character and his student were fighting him, and it was the perfect combination. There was story going on, there was like narration. They led him down this path, and then they had like this crazy fight with all this shenanigans, and like that's one of the things I look for in combat, like story combat, is it's heavy. There's emotion and shit in there. It's not just fighting for fuck's sake. There's actual reason behind them we're fighting. Someone's protecting somebody, or somebody's trying to get something else, and like they're fighting tooth and nail to reach their goal, whatever it is. That's what like why I'm in it. That's why I usually avoid combat unless those are the stakes, because that's when it's fun for me.
That, and I guess it also sort of depends on like what kind of like story and plot it is. Like if you're doing like a big epic, for example, then I do expect like the fighting to be this like, you know, to be fighting these big dangerous sort of monsters or enemies, powerful like foes. When I do like the Order of Whispers sort of role play, I sort of expect more like slower.
You expect it to be better than it is when it's just like, oh, okay, now there's another mindless horde, attack them. Like you expect it to be, you expect higher quality than what you get.
I've been in a lot of events where like, so yeah, they're sort of trying to do the big epic thing, right?
Yeah.
But in the end, I don't really feel like any attachment to these bad guys. They're just brainless goons to me. And like people are trying to do these plots, but they don't really have any sort of sense of character to them, or any reason why I would care or invest in them. Like unless it's got my character, unless my character has a reason to be invested in it, I don't really, It's just like I said, it's just another mindless goon I'm taking down. There needs to be that context.
For a more personal level, but we have had some arcs in Rosethorn shipping that don't just have NPC bad guys or some big monster to fight. We have had on occasion actual characters that we fought, and sometimes multiple characters. But you have to make sure, the thing is when you bring it into a larger group like that, you have to make sure that everybody kind of is invested in it. Whereas when it's personal between just you and a couple people, everyone's invested. You don't have to worry about that. It's just making sure that a larger group is interested in it is the hard part.
I think it's just from Pact example, from a Pact standpoint, as GM of Pact. I think it's a bit more difficult for us, obviously, because lore-wise, what are our enemies? Elder dragons. What are we fighting? Elder dragon minions, brainless goons. It was a little bit easier with Heart of Thorns because of the Mordrum Guard, since they have more sort of like character, or they have the potential for character, so it was a bit easier. But even still,
I always felt I always liked it better when it's an organized person, like it's like a crime organization or
Exactly.
something with more personality than just fucking faceless horde of dank goons that you have to fucking kill by the thousands. And it's like, okay, I've done this, but it's when it's like custom made, like just straight from scratch, like good villain characters or good hero characters. If you're playing, a villain yourself, that's where that's the best part. Is just if the two characters have connection, even if they don't, even if it's just right, because sometimes two characters might not connect that well, and it might be not that good of a matchup, but the good writing and the good build up can make something that's good into something that's great. And that's something I always look for. That's something I wish I could write, and I'm not that good at writing, and I don't really have the time for it anymore. But that's what I've been hoping to get more into the pack. Not that there hasn't been, because I haven't been around. I haven't been around to push it. I haven't been around to do it. What I've seen is really good recently, because I've been pretty absent due to work and just real life. But that's what I want to see more of in just Guild Wars as a community, in terms of combat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Ryan's still here.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
I'm still here.
here's a goddamn question, because how this is something I had more of an issue with back in the fucking beginning. But how do you, when you're role playing like someone who's kind of way overpowered, like maybe like a Mesmer for fighting someone who doesn't really use magic that much, or like in Star Wars, if you're a mercenary, fucking just like a bounty hunter fighting a Sith or a Jedi, or anything like that. Even in Final Fantasy, you're just a random schmo fighting a dude who's a fucking dragoon. Like, how should you take strides to make yourself not come off as like an overpowered jackass? Like, do you need, like, as I mentioned earlier, how it's like wrestling, you need to sell your opponent as much as they need to sell you. If your character feasibly is way more powerful than the other, should you still sell them?
I don't know really. I feel like if you're like choosing to play like a normal Joe, then you're playing a normal Joe.
Normal Joe, man.
Yeah, like you chose that. You don't want to. You chose not to play cool kid, badass number.
Warrior
1,000.
McFightson.
Yeah, the
generic white badass number 6.
Generic white male, muscular
And there's
protagonist.
always gonna be that moment where the bad guy's gonna be like, "You're pretty good.
Yeah.
You're that ninja."
I mean, go on, Porty, though.
But yeah,
Ignore Lion.
If you are gonna be a normal Joe, then I guess you role play as a normal Joe. I don't know.
Which is fair. I think that's fair.
I know it seems sort of thing to say, saying I'll give someone more power, even though, but you're choosing not to. You have the choice to play a powerful character.
So let's just say it's not a normal Joe. Like, let's say he's like, you're trying to role play him as a pretty alright bounty hunter, but you still don't have the force, or you still don't have like this crazy magic power that the other person has. Like, I don't. I had a lot of issues when I first started playing Guild Wars with people who were role playing Mesmers as all fucking powerful, or people who were role playing people in heavy armor. It's just like, oh, is that a thief running at me? I'll just backhand him, and that'll be the end of it.
I feel the thing is, I think all the professions in Guild Wars 2 are genuinely OP. In the novel, I remember Guardians being described as like the most powerful thing because their ability just to conjure light, block, just everything. They're supposed to be really powerful, and yet at the same time, I think of an elementalist, and I think, hey, they've got this air magic. They could potentially fucking pop someone's lungs. And then there's a necromancer. They could just, I don't know, give someone cancer or something. I don't know. I feel like...
Wine does that to me every day.
Yep.
I think all the professions can be overpowered in Guild Wars 2.
Yeah.
I feel if you're trying to role play as someone more powerful than everyone else, then you're not really.
Yeah.
You're just not being fair.
It boils down to don't be a dick about it. Really.
Rule number 1: don't be a cunt.
It's up there.
Oh, I'm
There's a list somewhere.
I'm sorry. Don't be a cunt.
Yeah.
We're going back to that. We're going back to the same rule as before. Don't be a cunt.
It's a really good rule.
It's odd because everything seems to go back to it.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of in the 10 Commandments. It's in there somewhere, scattered in, I'm sure.
Jesus said,
don't be a cunt.
I don't know. Don't be a cunt.
That guy said, don't be a cunt.
Actual quote from Jesus.
Yeah, check it, but seriously, don't.
Just up there on the cross, and he's just looking down at the Romans, and he's just like, "What the fuck did I tell you guys?"
No.
Well, we're getting close to the end of it, so I'm gonna start winding down. But thanks again. So Mia, because we haven't really done this before, but we probably should. Mia, do you want to do a quick plug for the fight night? I'm sure most people know what it is, but if you want to plug it real quick.
Okay, sure. We have a fight night every other Thursday at the Red Ring Arena in Lions Arch at 6:30 Pacific, 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, and will be next Thursday, which is May 12th. And we have an ad on Guild Wars 2 roleplayers.com. You can sign up to fight and pick your stats. And everyone is welcome. So please come out and watch.
All right. Port, is there anything you want to plug?
I don't know. I feel like most of the guests on here are from the 53rd Battalion, so I don't think it'd be fair to plug that.
Well, fucking talk about it. I don't care. I'm not going to stop you. I'm the
have we
host.
Plugged it before? Have we plugged it before?
A shitload, but I'm the host and a leader of that guild, so
Lion
I
says we
literally
have
have
plugged
nothing
it.
bad
Lion
to say about it.
Lion says we have plugged it.
All right, well then don't plug it, because I've got something to plug. I am going to be holding auditions to replace Lion as co-host of this podcast, because I'm tired of carrying his ass. My back muscles have become so strong that I physically can't sleep in my bed anymore without flexing until my shirt rips off, because I carry this fucker through the podcast every week.
I thought we agreed that I was the new
I'm free?
I thought we came to the conclusion
I can leave?
Nobody wanted you here in the first place.
No.
The door was wide open. You could have left any time.
I thought someone would shoot me.
You didn't see us all gently pushing you out?
No.
Just a little nudge.
I don't feel anything anymore.
Mia, you want to be co-host?
When everyone was saying to you, Pug Monkey, like, "Oh, you can leave when you want to. You can leave." You were like, "Oh, okay." You sort of took that as like people wanting you to stay, but they wanted.
Yeah, I don't know why you would have gotten that idea.
Yeah.
All right,
Clearly, you need more of me.
So
It's just a buffet of me.
Okay, well, I guess we'll be winding it down. Does anybody have anything else to add before we end the episode?
Overwatch is fun.
I'm downloading. I finished downloading Overwatch. It's on my computer.
Everybody, get Overwatch. It's worth the money. It's not even $60. It's $40.
Just take out all your roleplay combat over in Overwatch. Just say that your character is whoever.
It's the new Battlefield game, Battlefield 1. They just showed that trailer for
Battlefield
1.
Yeah.
Why is it called 1? It's
Call of Duty Recycled Warfare.
Pretty okay game. Just pretty good game just came out. It's called Pong. We should all go grab it.
Guild Wars 1. That was
Dogs.
Guild Wars, but now the next Guild Wars game is going to be called Guild Wars 1.
All right. Well, you're both cucks. Me is pretty all right. All right. Well, join us next week when the topic is going to be wiping your ass back to front rather than front to back. All right. See you guys then.